Back to the big idea. Okay, you think you've got a great idea to make millions, but the naysayers are beating you into submission. Tonight, we're showing you how to overcome that bad word, no. It's a terrible word. It's a no-no word. It's a word that can kill your dreams, but we're not going to let it. And my next guest refused to take no from distributors when they told him no one would buy his new brand of gin. Shu Vohra, CEO and founder of Bulldog Gin. Welcome, sir.
Good to meet you,
Mr.
Don.
Yes
Pleasure.
Man.
Thank you.
Okay, your product, which I love already, I mean, great package. I want to hold this up here because this flies in the face of what a gin should look like. A gin should be genteel and British-looking and refined, and this is bulldogging in your face, so I love it already. But going into it, I'm sure as soon as you walked in with this everywhere. No, 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 no.
Well, Donnie, I didn't even get to the point where I could walk into restaurants with so I could get the no. I was looking forward to that point. You have to go through a distributor, part of liquor laws. And, you know, the first time we went to distributors last year, first guy said, they probably said virtually, you know, in so many words, they said, you're crazy coming out with a new gin. Nobody drinks gin anymore. Thank you. Good luck in life. And that to me was quite, you know, I was so disappointed that day, but I was like, no, they don't see what I see.
Give me that moment. I want to go, because this is a lot of times when people hear that no, especially, okay, you're a new guy to the gin business. You're going to a gin distributor. He says, so of course, right. A lot of people at that point, oh, geez, I guess there's no idea. What did you do with that? Right.
Well, you know, this is after we created a product, spent money and all the time getting this ready. So I thought I was going to show them this great product that I felt was fantastic. And their response was going to be like, oh my God, we love you. We're going to make this a million case brand. It's going to be the next big thing. Little did I realize, we went to the meeting, I sat down with these guys who were so bearish. They said, oh, this is gin. Sure, you have nice packaging, but who's going to drink this? There's only 1 or 2 winners in the gin category. What are you going to do? And I said, well, we can do all this. They said, no, we don't believe you. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you coming, driving 4 hours to meet us. Good luck.
So what do you do now?
So I walk home. You know, I'm fairly dejected. I go home that night and I sit down on my computer and I was reading. I was thinking about, clearly, we see the world differently. What I see about, I was looking at the world going forward, and they were looking at the world how it's already been.
There you go. You already saw that's great.
And because I always realized, you know, greatness, my partner always told me, greatness doesn't come from being able to analyze the past. It comes from being able to predict the future, right? Amen. So I realized that the vodka market was so saturated. Gin, sure, it's great. People have a negative stigma about gin, but I knew that we had to come up with great packaging, this sexy 1960s British. Think about, like, you know, Steve McQueen and the Thomas Crown Affair. We're not into England. That was the, you know, the colonialist 200 years ago. I'm talking about more English 1960s, which was like the best era.
I got to tell you something, my friend. You're lucky. The Tanqueray Gin fired the Deutsche Agency years ago. We came up with a campaign called London for them, which was basically plugging into, no, it's not the British guys with funny hats. It's rock and roll. It's ballsy.
That's the sexy part of it.
You got that. Okay, so go on. I'm sorry.
So then we go and, you know, we go to the distributor and they says no. So I said, well, what is it that they're not seeing? And I was like, well, you know, this guy is the biggest distributor in the country. I mean, they carry every big name product. I knew I wasn't going to get any attention from them. So I said, well, all right. You know, I talked to my partner and we decided, let's do it. Let's go to a smaller distributor. We'll go a different route. Let's build up some traction. Let's see. Let the world see what we know.
What do you mean you go a different route?
Well, in a route, you know, as in going to the way the distribution landscape works. I could go on with this distributor. It's the biggest distributor in the country.
So if he had said yes, at that point, he automatically is putting it in every bar and every...
he's taking on the product.
Right.
Sure. I mean, he'll buy it a little bit, and then he'll have his salespeople go out and sell in the bars. That's still no guarantee.
So you get the no. So
get the no. Then I said, well, maybe we should go to another distributor that's less well known, that may be able to pay us attention. So we went in there, and they said, well, gin, I don't know. Gin, it's just not going to happen. Finally, they said yes. Went with them for you know, a few months. Things are going really well. Now we're getting a lot of traction. You know, people talk about us everywhere. We're becoming a darling of the press. And here we are, about 12 months later, and we're going back with that big distributor who said no to me.
When those guys told you no, you figured out the right tactic. But how did you emotionally keep it going? Why did you know it was a yes? Why did you know this was a yes when the world was telling you no?
You know, I realized a long time ago that if I listened to being an investment banker formerly, you know, doing fairly well, if I started listening to the no's from everybody else, I would be just as well sort of being a monk in Tibet. I mean, there's so much going on. There's so many no's. There's so much negative energy out there that I decided I got to listen to what's in here. And I found directionally throughout my life, that's what served me the best. So it didn't really, it was just one in a stream of no's. I didn't view that as the defining no of my life, that, oh, my life is going downhill from me. I heard it just one another no, and I just said, I'm going to do what this place leads me to where I need to be.
So what's the takeaway advice for somebody out there who just heard a no, or is about to hear a no, or has heard no's?
The day you start accepting no for an answer, that means no is acceptable, and I think it's all downhill from there.
Good man. Shu Vohra, CEO and founder of Bulldog Gin. Man who said, no is not an option to me. Is the word no hanging like a weight around your neck, dragging you down? It's one of the biggest obstacles to seeing your American dream come true. I don't care where you've been, people are always going to say no. We're going to teach you how to get past those no's and get to your dream. Don't go anywhere.